Even 25 years after its initial release, The Sims still remains one of the most popular game franchises of all time. Players are asked to create an avatar, and from there, the world is there. With an abundance of expansion packs and DLC available, The Sims has managed to transform a typical social simulation game into one of the most lucrative franchises in the world. Despite its imminent success, the game has yet to branch out into other mediums, like film, TV, or books. While Margot Robbie announced she is set to produce a movie surrounding the franchise last year, fans still want more. Yet, fans could have received a bustling live-action movie in the mid-2000s, but the production company had other plans. For many gamers, The Sims was a pinnacle of the 2000s, allowing them to create their own world and inhabitants all from one console. The game's creator, Will Wright, was inspired to create the franchise after losing his house in the Oakland firestorm in 1991. Thus, while in the process of rebuilding his life, he believed that a virtual dollhouse would be a good premise for a video game. Overall, the games are quite simple. Players have to create their own sim and place them inside a house. Then, gamers must keep their sim satisfied by meeting most of their essential needs like bladder, fun, energy, social, and hygiene, and also hunger. Since the 2000s, or since 2000, the franchise has sold hundreds of millions of copies and has been translated into 22 different languages and created Simlish. You can actually speak Simlish. It's an actual language. Judging by the game's imminent success, it came as no surprise that acclaimed writer and director Brian Lynch wanted a piece of the action. In 2007, he delivered a script for a live-action Sims movie, focusing on a young protagonist who learns that everything he does in The Sims also occurs in the real world. Although it's fun and exciting at first, his newfound power quickly spirals out of control. The director was keen to create a socially awkward main character, showcasing how many players learn about social interactions of the game. But, of course, these lessons do not translate very well in real life. Brian Lynch is now best well known for his recognized work of The Secret Life of Pets and Hop, but back in the 2000s, he was best known for his prolific work in the comic book industry, working on franchises like Angel and the TMNT. Thus, it's clear that Lynch had a very good understanding of how influential the game was on contemporary pop culture. Plus, Fox and EA were very pleased with the script. During his pitch meeting, Lynch met with the game's creator, who also agreed that the script was loyal to many major mechanics of the franchise. As such, the project was greenlit pretty much straight away, and Fox was keen to get the ball rolling as quickly as possible. So, what happened? Well, 4 years after the initial announcement, Brian Lynch's movie was still in development. However, fans had no more information and just assumed that the film had become stuck in development hell. In 2019, audiences received the news that they had all been expecting. The movie was scrapped. When Disney took over Fox, it decided to cut a plethora of potential films. And unfortunately, The Sims movie was one of them. However, Brian Lynch knows that the main reason that the film was cancelled was because the production costs were sky high. Though he wanted the film to be entirely live action, the world-building aspect required a lot of special effects, all of which cost a ton of money. He also wanted to include a ton of famous people as part of a celebrity expansion pack, so it's likely that the talent's budget would be quite vast. I mean, yeah, because, like, the last time a celebrity was in The Sims, and I'm not counting Millie Bobby Brown, but the last celebrity we got in a Sims game was Katy Perry's Sims 3 expansion pack, and she sang one of her songs in Simlish, and pretty crazy. In an interview with The Guardian in May of last year, Brian Lynch explained, "There would have been famous people playing themselves, walking around the town and in the school. That would have been cool. But the lens would have all probably have been unknowns, which I think also added to the reasons Fox didn't make it." Another problem with this movie is that Fox didn't really do a good job of, like, explaining it. Since The Sims has such an avid and devoted fan base, a lot of fans were against a Hollywood blockbuster for fears that it would tarnish the franchise. Yet, Fox just mentioned the premise of the film and didn't go into a lot of detail about Lynch's desire to include plenty of references. For example, the writer wanted to have a few scenes where the game glitches and everyone starts talking in Simlish, making the lead feel very confused and disoriented. Overall, it seems that although Lynch had a lot of great ideas, there wasn't a lot of plans in place to help him execute these ideas well. The production budget would have been very high, and while this film could have made a huge profit, the risks were also just too much. It's important for audiences to keep in mind that all of these talks occurred in 2007. The Sims, as well as the wider video game industry, were booming, but a lot of executives just assumed that this content was for small children. As such, it appears that a lot of studios didn't want to waste money on video game content, just in case it didn't tap into the right audience. You know, that explains why the Mario movie was so weird before we got the cooler one. While fans appreciated Brian Lynch's approach to bringing the multi-million-dollar franchise to life, Margot Robbie's plans seem more exciting. Last year, she announced that she was going to produce a Sims movie alongside her production company, Lucky Chap. Amazon MGM Studios also mentioned their involvement, suggesting that the film could have a streaming home as well as a theatrical release. Aside from hiring some of the big names in the production company, EA's vice president assures fans that the film will be a realistic tribute to the games. In an interview with the BBC, Gorman explains, "There will be freezer bunnies. I'm sure a pool without a ladder is somewhere in there, but we haven't finalized any of those details. But that's the idea, is to say that it lives within this space. It's all a nod to all those amazing play and creation and fun that people have had over the last 25 years within The Sims." In comparison to Lynch's idea, it's fair to say that Margot Robbie's plans seem much more like a love letter to this beloved game. Plus, based on the imminent success of Barbie, it's easy to assume that Robbie and her team have a good idea of how to bring a fictional idea to life. Yet, it's important to remember that The Sims has changed dramatically since the first movie was pitched in 2007. At this point, The Sims 2 was in its peak, which was a great game with lots of expansions, but it had none of the benefits that The Sims 4 has. In addition, the world of CC has expanded exponentially, so players can plan their virtual world down to the final detail without having to spend a copious amounts of money on expansion packs or DLC. Not only does this make the game more affordable for mass audiences, but also helps to build a bustling community for creatives. Real quick side note, for my Sims 4 playing experience, once a year, I will buy one pack that's really important for my game. So the first time I ever did that was City Living, because I really wanted apartments, but I can't rent those apartments. So I was like, okay, I need to pick my next expansion pack. What's it gonna be? So then I picked, cats and dogs. Yeah, and I think those are only the main two packs I have. I've been trying to figure out what my next pack will be. I'm hoping for seasons, but I want one of the packs that I feel like will be necessary. That's the way I plan things on my packs. So like I have City Living for apartments, and I have cats and dogs for pets. But now I need another pack that I really need. So I'm thinking seasons, because we have the hot and cold weathers, and also I want holidays. There's just so many packs I want. Anyways, another key thing to mention is branded collaborations. The Sims has worked alongside plenty of brands to help build exclusive packs and locations. Yet, The Sims 4 has definitely taken this to a whole new level. Remember when they made that, Star Wars pack that no one liked? Yeah, I remember that. Anyways, Brian Lynch's pitch aimed to bring this game to the masses and used a lot of interesting tropes to make this film as visually appealing as possible. Yet, now that Margot Robbie has taken the torch, fans are expecting big things.